I've seen some content creators telling you that if you go through the skilled worker visa eligible occupations and codes on the government website, and if your occupation is on that list, therefore you can be sponsored with a skilled worker visa. And this is not true. This is not correct. They don't tell you how you can screen through the occupations on this list to determine which one can be sponsored on a skilled worker visa or which one is only for extension and renewal. For example, if you go through this list, you will see veterinary nurses, and the truth is that it says medium skill and it doesn't have this ineligible because it is the one that you can extend as if you want to apply for a renewal when you're on the pathway before the 22nd of July 2025, you can actually achieve it. But if you want to be sponsored like a new person, like you want to switch from a student visa or you want to be sponsored from outside the UK, you cannot be sponsored. In fact, it is the same for teaching assistant. Now, the government has published how you can screen through this list here to determine which one you can be sponsored for the first time and the one that you need to apply for extension for. Now, if you want to know how to go about this, I'll share with you the government website where they have that step-by-step process, how you can determine whether this occupation is something you should go for. Maybe you want to come into the UK to pursue a master's and you're wondering which occupations can I actually get a sponsorship in, because it's a huge investment you want to go into. If that is you, you are wondering, oh, I'm on a graduate visa, I want to switch to a skilled worker visa, which one am I eligible for? Or I'm a student, what do I do next? Then watch this video to the end. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Cynthia. I share information that will help your transition into the UK to be as smooth as possible. I share information about settling, working, or studying in the UK. If you're looking for an affordable accommodation close to your university, bills inclusive, then you should choose Amber. Amber is a platform where you can rent an accommodation close to your university. They have a 24/7 contact number. You can call them if you have any queries. You know how difficult it is to get an accommodation when you relocate to a new country. Just let them take that stress off you. Choose Amber today. They are located in cities in the UK such as London, Manchester, Leicester, Nottingham, Coventry, Newcastle upon Tyne, Leeds, Sheffield. They are located in so many other cities. I don't need to share them all here because we will not end this video. This is how easy it is to use their website. So under the search bar, put in Birmingham. Let's just say we are looking for an accommodation close to Birmingham. Click on England, United Kingdom, and voila. 54 places, guys, and look at the prices. You can't beat these prices. Seriously, you should try this. They are located in more than 800 universities all over the world, 250 plus global cities. Their website is so easy to navigate and they offer instant and easy bookings. It takes just 3 steps for you to get the lowest prices guaranteed. They give 20% cashback if you use their app. They have £50 cashback if you refer a friend. Now use my link to enjoy other discounts related to this particular platform. Why not use Amber today? I will leave the link in the description as well as in the comments. And without wasting time, let's get into this video. The government published some steps you need to follow to determine whether you are eligible for a skilled worker visa. The first thing the government has here is that you need to find out if your job is eligible for a visa. The second thing is that you have to be working for a UK employer who has the license to sponsor. Without that license to sponsor, your visa will not be approved and you will not be able to get a COS. And finally, you need to be paid at least the minimum salary rate for the type of job you will be doing. I will choose some occupations that we will analyze using the steps that the government has published here. The first thing that they said here is that you need to know its 4-digit occupation code. I know many of you already know that. You can first of all ask your employer, what is the occupation code? If your employer does not know the occupation code, you can actually determine the occupation code by searching for your job on the Cascot occupation coding tool. Let's just check veterinary nurses, data analysts, and project managers. If you cannot find your exact job title, try searching for similar jobs. Next, if you want to find out whether the occupation code is eligible for a visa, this is what you do. When you know your occupation code, view the table of eligible jobs to see if it's included. You go straight to this table and check whether that occupation code is included. For example, when we check veterinary nurses, we can already see it here. When we check data analysts, we can already see it here. When we check project manager, we already see it here. And there are different types of project manager. You can work as a project manager in IT, construction, things like that. When we also check nursing, auxiliaries, and assistants, we can see the code here. But you can see that some of them are under the medium scale, some high scale, and this other one is like medium skill too. So what do we do next? If the occupation is listed on the higher skill job, you can apply for this job visa. So that is straight up. Anyone that is higher skilled, for example, we did that for IT project manager, we know that is higher skilled, no worries, you can apply for it. But it says that if your occupation code is listed as medium skilled, you can only apply for the visa if the job is on either one, the immigration salary list or the temporary shortage list. Now, we already know that veterinary nurses, data analysts, and nursing auxiliaries and assistants, medium skill. So what we are going to do is we are going to check the immigration salary list here to find out whether they are on that list. Now, you can see that nursing auxiliaries and the assistant made it to this list, but I can't see any data analysts. I can't see any veterinary nurses. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the temporary shortage list and find out whether data analysts or veterinary nurses are on that list. It's not here. Veterinary nurses is not on this list. Data analyst is on this list. Now you know how you can analyze whether an occupation is eligible for a skilled worker visa. Get the 4-digit code, then check the main list. After that, if it is on a higher scale, then yes, you get it. But if it's a medium scale job, then you need to check under these two lists. If it is not in any of them, therefore you cannot be sponsored. From what we have done now, we know that veterinary nurses will not be sponsored, even though it's made it to the skilled worker eligible occupations. Teaching assistant cannot be sponsored, even though it made it to the other list there. We know it can't be sponsored. And finally, we also know that data analysts can be sponsored, but the limit on it is that from the 31st of December 2026, you can no longer be sponsored as a data analyst. But I've told you guys that don't worry, you can always switch to that data engineering, data scientists, data architects, all those other parts, IT, business systems analysts. You can choose an occupation code in that particular space because it is a higher skilled occupation. We also know that nursing auxiliaries and assistants 6131 and the care workers 6135 and 6136 can be sponsored. Even if you have an occupation that is eligible for skilled worker visa, the earning on your COS, that's the salary on your COS, has to be above or equal to the minimum salary threshold as stated by the government. So you might be wondering, how do I determine what the salary expectation is? You will need to be paid the standard salary rate of at least 41,700 per year, or the going rate for your job, whichever is higher. For example, it says that if your salary is 42,000 pounds per year, but the annual going rate for the job you'll be doing is 45,000 pounds, you do not meet the usual salary requirement for the visa. And that is why I always tell people, please, the first thing you need to do is to find out the going rate for your job. And note that if you want to extend your visa, the going rate might be different from if you just want to apply for the first time. And if you actually studied in the UK as a student or as you're on a graduate visa, the going rate might be different. You can see the going rate for these occupations on this list, but I always tell you to use the statement of changes in immigration rules. Why do I do that? Because that one is more comprehensive. It shows you what you need to be earning if you are option E, option C, and all that. And it's very easy to navigate. I don't know why they created this like this. It's quite stressful for me to use this website because I have to scroll to the end to see everything there. But at the same time, I'll say use the statement of changes in immigration rules, because you see, if you are option E, that is you study in the UK, you're a new entrant, you would see the discount there. You would not be misled. Everything would just be so clear. Just note that if you work in the healthcare, there is a different going rate. If you work in education, there is a different going rate. So you can check the going rate for the different salaries. It does not need to be 41,700. There is a lower going rate because these occupations are in high demand. Many people who are British don't want to do these jobs. That's why they have to reduce the going rate to encourage employers to employ people who are outside the UK or who are in the UK and are foreigners. Next, approved UK employers. If you want to find out whether that particular employer has the license to sponsor, then you need to go through this list. Guys, I know it's hard work, but once you come into this country, it is your duty to help yourself get ahead. It's not people with the best skills that get ahead. It's people who understand the immigration policies and plan ahead that get ahead in the UK. So that's why I'm sharing this. You have to be very particular about any employer you want to choose. You need to find out, okay, if I want to do an internship with this employer, or I want to do 20 hours with this employer, so that in the long run, while I'm building my skills as a student, I will be able to get a job or land a visa sponsorship job. They can help me switch from a student visa to a skilled worker visa. Then you need to be planning this with those companies that have the license to sponsor. And how do you know whether a company has the license to sponsor? You can either go to the list of approved UK employers, which is the register of licensed sponsor. That list is like 100,000. But if you are struggling to use that Excel sheet, you can also use this uktsponsors.co.uk. You put in the name of your company, the company you want to check before you submit the application. Then you check whether they have the skilled worker visa. I hope you've benefited a lot from this video. Please like, share, subscribe. I always share opportunities that will help you make an informed decision. I share exactly what you see on the government website so that you can digest it for yourself. You can see clearly. I don't just share things just for the purpose of sharing. I'm intentional. I show you where I got it from so that you can also go through the same list on your own and make an informed decision. I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.